There we go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Monday, September 19th, 2016.
Commissioner Repenning, James, Davis, and Jacinto are present. President James, we have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Kelly Lewis, Street Services.
Good morning, Mas Tojiri, Bureau of Sanitation.
Brad Jensen, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Chris Smith, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Lori Rittenberg, City Attorney.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we do not have any speaker cards under general public comment, no commentary under the Neighborhood Council, and no speaker cards under the regular items for today's agenda.
Okay, then we'll close general public comment and the Neighborhood Council category of commentary. Our first item of business, the approval of the meeting minutes from the meeting of Monday, August 29th, 2016. Is there a second to my motion that we approve those meeting minutes? By Commissioner Repenning. Any objection? Without objection, we'll approve those meeting minutes. An administrative item, agenda item number 8, Reese Walker and Land Surveying Services has transmitted a stop notice in the amount of $6,857.42 for furnishing hydrographic surveying, mapping, and reporting to J&D Thomas Company Incorporated, an apparent subcontractor, in connection with the Machado Lake Ecosystem Rehabilitation Project. The contractor is OHL USA Incorporated. Is there a second to my motion that we adopt or receive, I should say, agenda item number 8 forthwith? By Commissioner Repenning. Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 1. Council District 6 from the Bureau of Engineering, recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to sole source instrumentation and control equipment, chronomagnetic, it's either Crone or chronomagnetic flow meter, and Valmet total solid density meters, and authorize the city engineer to use the construction services contract, that's our Cisco contract, and to issue task work orders to the contractor for an amount not to exceed $250,000 for the capital improvement project, Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant Primary Sludge Withdrawal System Project. Amy So, welcome back.
Good morning. Amy So from the Bureau of Engineering, Environmental Engineering Division. We're requesting authorization to sole source instrumentation and controls equipment and to utilize the Cisco contract for the Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant Primary Sludge Withdrawal System Project. At the Tillman plant, incoming wastewater passes through a grit chamber, and then it is pumped up to a higher elevation where it flows through a screening facility, and then it flows by gravity to the primary settling tanks, where most of the solids or the sludge settles out to the bottom. The primary sludge withdrawal system conveys the sludge from the primary settling tanks to the main city sewer, and from there it flows to Hyperion for further processing. This system has been in place and operating for approximately 30 years, and there is a need to repair leaking pipe segments as well as to upgrade the system with new process instrumentation. The scope of this particular project will replace approximately 150 feet of leaking primary sludge piping, and it will replace 1 magnetic flow meter as well as 2 density meters, along with the density meter manifold and control and isolation valves. The equipment that we're proposing to sole source is 1 8-inch Krona brand magnetic flow meter for a not to exceed cost of $10,000, and 2 Valmet brand 8-inch total solids density meters for a not to exceed cost of $50,000. The total cost for the project will be approximately $250,000, and that includes a 20% contingency. By sole sourcing this equipment, we'll provide the Bureau of Sanitation with the quality, accuracy, and reliability that they desire in this important metering equipment. The Bureau of Sanitation has started to standardize the use of the Krona brand magnetic flow meters. There are currently 110 approximately installed at the Tillman plant, and there are currently about 7 Valmet brand density meters installed at Hyperion. I've shared a photograph of the existing equipment at the Tillman plant. On the left is a silver box, and that's the existing Toshiba brand density meter. The Valmet brand will provide more reliability when the pipe is partially full, which is not the case with the existing Toshiba brand product. Also, the Valmet brand will provide ceramic sensors and a glass-lined throat, and that's going to allow the sludge to pass more easily through the meter without sticking to the meter. And that's going to provide more reliability, less maintenance, and a higher degree of accuracy. The Toshiba product that they currently have at Tillman also requires frequent periodic calibration, and that means taking the meter out of service, filling that section of pipe with plain water to recalibrate the meter. The Valmet product has technology in it that will automatically recalibrate every 5 minutes while the meter is in use. On the right is the blue device. That's the existing that's the existing Siemens brand flow meter. The Krona brand is going to provide a higher degree of accuracy, 0.15% accuracy versus a 0.25% accuracy that the existing Siemens brand has. It also is more reliable when the pipe is partially full, and it's going to come with removable electrodes on either end, so that's going to make it easier to service and maintain that equipment. And it's going to have a technology that's called virtual grounding technology, which eliminates the need for a conventional grounding ring. It's also essential to utilize the Cisco contract for this project because of the size of the project, which is small, and it's also very urgent in nature. The Bureau intends to issue negotiated task work orders to the contractor to separately procure and then install the equipment. So utilizing a conventional bid and award process would be prohibitively time-consuming for this two-step process. Utilizing Cisco will be able to help the plant get these repairs done promptly and the equipment replaced quickly and eliminate that leaking piping situation in the pipe gallery. Therefore, the city engineer recommends that you authorize sole sourcing of this equipment and the utilization of Cisco for this project.
Thank you, Ms. So. Thank you for the additional information to what was included in the board report for the sole source justification. That's helpful, and it provides us with a complete record. And I would just add that referencing the Cisco, because there has been some confusion regarding what Cisco is. Cisco's an on-call list for us. It's not a company. It's not one company that does the work. A company named Cisco. It's our construction contract that we utilize. And what we do is we go to the next available contractor on the list and offer it to them. Correct?
Cisco is an on-call contract for one contractor, and currently it's Murray Company, who's operating under Cisco 9.
But there are, in this case, there are different companies that are part of the Cisco contract.
The Cisco contractor is a prime contractor, and they utilize subcontractors under their contract.
Okay, but when we move from Cisco, we're in Cisco number
9.
9. Okay, when we move to Cisco 10, we will put that out again.
Yes, it's a competitive process for the best value.
So I don't want to create confusion myself. What I want to be clear is we don't have a contractor named Cisco.
Correct.
That we're utilizing. So because it's a smaller event, we go to the Cisco contractor that went through the process to be listed, and we go from there and we choose from that entity who will utilize various subcontractors to do the work, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Commissioner Davis.
Who is the Cisco contractor on this? Who is the Cisco contractor on
The
this?
Cisco contractor under Cisco 9 is Murray Company.
And they're from Los Angeles?
We
don't know.
I'm not sure where they're located, but we can check.
I know it's a highly technical area.
Santa Fe
Springs.
I know it's a highly technical area. But what I wanted to do was just simply make a comment in terms of our presentation of this particular proposal and say that I appreciate the fact that not only are we replacing these items, but that yet we have made prudent and efficient decisions that will help to improve the state-of-the-art technology in this process, and I think that's a welcomed addition. And I know you always do it, but I just want to note and compliment you for doing it here in terms of some of the process and procedures needed in this technology. It looks like the new equipment that you have chosen will do that and carry us to the next level. So that's much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. So. Anything further? Okay, Commissioner Sintos made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 1. I'll second it. Any issues, any objection? Any issues sending number 1 forthwith? We'll send number 1 forthwith. And just so, while it's not specifically, well, it is related to the agenda item, Mr. Cirillo, would you step forward for a moment? I feel like I might have left some unclear water regarding the process for the general Cisco contract in my attempt to try and clear up that any confusion that we were using Cisco as a contractor. So in a paragraph or so, would you just provide for the record the Cisco contract process and why we use it?
Sure. So what we've done for a number of years is we've competitively bid the Cisco contract, and at the time it's bid, there's really no work that's offered. We ask the contractors to submit bids based on a fee structure. In other words, for $100 worth of work, after they take out all their expenses, how much of direct work will the city obtain? So we obtain bids in that nature, and the company with the highest direct residual value that they give us, so for example, if a company gives us $92 worth of work and another company gives us $94 worth of work, we select them as our Cisco contractor for a 3-year period.
Cisco's an acronym for
Yeah, it stands for
Construction
Construction
Services
Contract.
It's not a company name.
Right.
Go ahead.
Once the contract's been awarded to this contractor, we put a ceiling on it, usually $12 million over 3 years, and we issue scopes of work to that contractor, and we negotiate proposals on a case-by-case basis, and they do have a team of subs, as Amy has referred to. And then near the end of that 3-year period, we typically will advertise the next Cisco contract, and the company that gets the highest direct residual value again is awarded that next Cisco contract, and we just repeat the process.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry for any confusion I may have created. Ms. So, thank you again as always. Agenda item, did we send number 1 forthwith?
Yes, you have.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 2, Council District 8 from the Bureau of Sanitation, recommending that the board first authorize the Bureau of Sanitation director or his designee to declare sanitation's property located at 5114 South Arlington Avenue as surplus property and be allowed to be sold with the money to be deposited to the Sewer Construction and Maintenance Fund, and to direct the Department of General Services to process the property through the surplus process to effectuate the sale. Mr. Jelani.
Good morning, President of the Board, Commissioner, Bureau Rep, and Executive Officer. My name is Cyrus Gilani. I work with Bureau of Sanitation, WUSD. Back in 2013, City of Los Angeles purchased, on October 22nd, purchased the property, said property, for a month of $219,000 to facilitate the rehabilitation of the existing sewer line, COS, Central Outfall Sewer. The said sewer line was crossed by a storm line which required open cut construction activity. At the time, we made an agreement with the current homeowner that we can lease the portion of the property which we already had the easement to conduct the construction activity. And during the time before the construction started, before agreement was signed, the property was foreclosed by bank, and the city decided to purchase the property through the foreclosure process and not to delay the construction activity. Meanwhile, the construction is completed. There is no additional need for this property, and we're requesting the board to declare this property as surplus so it can be sold.
Thank you, sir. So when we go back to sell the property, so the work's been done.
Yes.
When we go out to sell the property, likely we make a profit on that? Probably
will. Yeah, the property was purchased in 2013 for $219,000. Based in the current market, we're looking around mid-$300,000.
And it was during the negotiation process for an easement with the existing property owner that the existing property owner lost the property through foreclosure as a result of bank action, correct?
That's correct.
Nothing,
nothing
the city had nothing to do with it. So once the city faces that action or faces that result, the city deemed it better to just purchase the property than to try and negotiate at that point, or to wait until a new owner came in, correct?
Yeah, that was our next option, to wait for the foreclosure, for the new owner to purchase the property, and then make the same agreement with the new owner, but that would definitely delay the project.
So now the project's done and we have a chance to make our money back and then some.
Definitely.
Commissioner Davis?
No, I just wanted to say that looks like it was a good decision in terms of the city, in terms of our benefit financially, equally as it was a benefit for us in the construction.
Thank you, sir. I do the same.
Thank you.
Anything further? Is there a motion on number 2? By Commissioner Davis, I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. Any issue sending number 2 forthwith? We'll send it forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Agenda item number 3, we have from the Bureau of Street Services a tree removal request for the Metro Regional Connector Transit Corridor Project. The record is, or rather the agenda list is a bit long, so bear with me for a moment as I read it into the record. Recommending that the board, first, find that the board has reviewed and considered the information in the Regional Connector Transit Corridor Project Environmental Impact Statement, Environmental Impact Report. 2, find under the California Public Resources Code, Section 21166, and the California Environmental Quality Act Guidelines, Section 15162, on the basis of substantial evidence contained in the whole record, that since certification of the FEIS and FEIR, that there have been no changes to the project, changes with respect to the circumstances under which the subject tree removals are being undertaken, or new information of substantial importance concerning the project, which cause new significant environmental effects, or a substantial increase in the severity of previously identified significant effects, and therefore no subsequent EIR and no supplemental EIR is required for the subject tree removal. Number 3, adopt the January 20th Mitigation Monitoring and Reporting Program, that's Chapter 8 in the EIR document, prepared by Metro as it pertains to the mitigation measures that relate to the trees. Number 4, find under the CEQA Guidelines, Section 15091, that changes or alterations have been required in or incorporated into the project which reduce or substantially lessen the significant environmental effects as identified in the FEIS and FEIR. Further, find that there is no feasible alternative or additional feasible mitigation measures within the board's powers that would substantially lessen or avoid any significant effect the project would have on the environment. Number 5, specify that the Urban Forestry Division of the Bureau of Street Services, located at 1149 South Broadway, and the Board of Public Works, located at 200 North Spring Street, and other relevant city Los Angeles departments, are custodians of the documents or other material which constitute the record of the proceedings upon which the board's decision is based. And number 6, request that our board review and approve the request for a tree removal permit to remove 11 jacaranda trees and 2 Indian laurel fig trees, those are ficus trees, for the Metro Regional Connector Transit Corridor Project. Tree replacements and other conditions as specified in the board report are required. Mr. Tyson, I see that you are slated for number 3 with a new look today.
This week is my magic week to have my birthday, so I have to take a look every year just to kind of see what I look like.
Well, 35th birthday is a big one, sir.
I like it. Thank you. President James, commissioners, bureau representatives, executive officer, and the city attorney. Metro is requesting approval to remove and replace 13 street trees to facilitate construction of the Regional Connector Transit Corridor Project within the City of Los Angeles public right-of-way. The Regional Connector Project is a 1.9-mile light rail line that will extend the system from Metro's existing Little Tokyo Station to the 7th Street Metro Center Station in downtown Los Angeles. The Metro Regional Connector Transit Corridor Project is a transit project funded by Measure R, the half-cent sales tax approved by Los Angeles County voters in 2008. The project, which is broken up into 2 separate segments, Segment A and B, will provide 3 new subway stations. Second, Hope Station, Segment A. Second, Broadway Station, Segment B, and the relocated Little Tokyo Station to the First Central, Segment B. There are 13 trees in conflict with the multiple construction activities growing within the entire project area that will be severely impacted and need to be removed. Metro contacted the Bureau regarding the need to proceed with the project and address potential impacts to the existing street trees. A Bureau arborist inspected the affected trees on August 4th, 2016. The trees to be removed in the project area are 1 Indian laurel fig ficus microcarpa tree at 218 South Broadway, 6 jacaranda mimicifolia trees on Hope Street from 1st Street to 3rd Street, and 5 jacaranda trees on South Flower Street from 1st Street to Wilshire Boulevard, and 1 additional Indian laurel fig tree at 811 West Wilshire Boulevard. The trees measure approximately 14 to 22 inches in diameter by 35 to 40 feet in height and are in fair health. This particular permit application is to remove 13 trees of various species from the corridor to facilitate the construction of the light rail transit line and related infrastructure work. Council District 14 has been informed, as well as CFAC, of the tree removal request and will inform the Bureau of any tree removal objections the Council or CFAC receives. The trees were posted on August 4th, 2016. Metro contractor shall plant 26 36-inch box-sized trees, species to be determined at a later date within the corridor of the project to comply with the Board of Public Works 2-to-1 tree replacement policy. The tree replacement policy noted above shall in no way restrict Metro from fulfilling any planting agreements established with council districts, neighborhood councils, business improvement districts, or any other community groups or city agencies. Further, landscape and tree planting plans shall comply with any applicable design guidelines, specific plans, Los Angeles Municipal Code, historic preservation overlay zones, or any other adopted plan related to the location of this project. For replacement trees to be planted within the project area limits, replacement shall begin after completion of sidewalk, curb, and gutter restoration and acceptance of the Bureau of Contract Administration. Replacement trees that cannot be placed directly in the project area due to site conditions or constraints will be identified on design plans as off-site replacement trees. Off-site replacement trees shall be identified on design plans with the site address, proposed tree species, corresponding tree count, identification numbers, and located on streets directly adjacent to the project area within the public right-of-way. Off-site replacement trees shall be installed within 30 working days after the approval of the design plans. All replacement trees for the loss of city right-of-way trees shall not be installed on private property. They will be installed on other governmental or city property or on Metro property. Tree species and actual location shall be determined on design plans submitted to Bureau of Street Services review in consultation with the Bureau of Street Services prior to the project completion. For all trees to be planted, Metro shall develop and fund a landscape maintenance plan for a period of 3 years. This 3-year period commences for each tree at the time of planting and acceptance of the Bureau of Contract Administration. Such a plan shall be designed to ensure maintenance and survival of all trees planted for the project. The planned improvements will severely impact 13 street trees and leave the trees in an unsafe condition with the limits of the new proposed work. Therefore, the Bureau recommends this board approve a no-fee tree removal permit for the 13 trees.
Thank you, Mr. Tyson. Any questions? Commissioner Jacinto?
Thank you, President James. Mr. Tyson, nice trim.
Oh, thanks.
Anyway, the couple of questions. How many of the 26 trees are going to go back on site?
I got to, well, they've got plans to plant all of them, and I would have to give you an exact number, but some will be planted off-site.
Okay, so that's to be determined, but
Yes,
13 out, 26 in, and most of them within the project area?
Yes, most are within the project area, and if they're not, they're right within the adjacent streets there within the surrounding area.
Great, if you can
And
get back
they're
to
all-
us.
And they're all 36-inch box-sized
30
trees.
inch, okay, 36 inch. Also want to give a shout out to Metro for consulting with the local stakeholder groups, the Tokyo Community Council, Regional Connector Community Leadership, Board of Library Commissioners, area stakeholders and residents. It's so important that we work together with the local stakeholders to get the tree palette that is acceptable and commensurate with whatever else is going around. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacinto. Commissioner Penning?
My only thought on this, Tim, is that, I mean, I'm sure that there are a lot of folks who are going to want to weigh in on the species, but the ones along Hope next to the Disney Hall, the jacarandas, I think that's kind of I think it's a familiar look. It's, to me, I personally would like to see jacarandas go back in there because I think it's a nice, element to that area.
As long as it's within the guidelines, which I'm sure when those were planted, the HPOZs or any of those kind of things that it might exist, we'll check that, but I'll make that recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 3, seconded by Commissioners Jacinto and Repenning. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 3. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 3 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 4, requested contract acceptance, Bureaus of Contract Administration and Engineering, Council Districts 4 and 10. Secondary Sewer Renewal Program, Adams and Crenshaw, and Burnside and Wilshire projects. Chris Smith.
Good morning, Chris Smith, Bureau of Contract Administration, General Services Division. This contract was awarded on June 11, 2014, completed May 18, 2015. It replaced just under 3 miles of 8, 10, 12, and 15-inch sewer by remove and replace or point repair and liner. The contractor exceeded all the outreach goals, and there are no unresolved financial or property issues. The Bureau recommends acceptance.
Any questions on number 4? I don't have any questions. Is there a motion on number 4? By Commissioner Davis. I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 4. Any problem sending it forthwith? We'll send number 4 forthwith. Thank you, Mr. Smith. On number 5, emergency, I see you're here on that as well. Bureaus of Contract Administration and Engineering, Emergency Sewer Storm Drain Repair Quarterly Acceptance Report, recommending that the board accept the 67 sewer and 6 storm drain projects of the Emergency Sewer and Storm Drain Repair Program as indicated in the attached project summaries tables. Mr. Smith on number 5.
This report is recommending acceptance of 73 total repairs, 67 sewer and 6 storm drain emergency repairs done from the period of April, May, and June of 2016. Utilized the 17 contractors on the on-call list. There are no specific outreach requirements due to the emergency nature of the work, and there are no unresolved financial or property issues on any of these projects, and the Bureau recommends acceptance at this time.
Okay, any questions on agenda item number 5? No questions on agenda item number 5. Commissioner Jacinto has made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 5. Is it seconded by Commissioner Repenning? Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 5. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 5 forthwith. Thank you. Agenda item number 6. Bureau of Engineering and Contract Administration recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to issue and advertise the transmitted request for qualifications to on-call wastewater and environmental engineering consultants for various public works projects. That's transmittal number 1. Authorize the staff from the Department of Public Works to evaluate and pre-qualify the respondents based on the requirements and procedures set forth in the RFQ. Number 3, authorize the city engineer to negotiate a personal services contract with each of the highest rated and most responsive firms. And number 4, direct the city engineer to report to the Board of Public Works with recommendations on executing the negotiated contracts. Mr. Cirillo, you're here on number 6.
Good morning, Mike Cirillo with the Bureau of Engineering. The Bureau of Engineering has been using this on-call model of contracting for over 10 years now. And the benefits are we go through the contracting process once to establish an on-call list of consultants for a 5-year period. And then as scopes of work come up for various designs or studies or construction management support, you name it, we're able to just go to this list and solicit proposals and award scopes of work individually to consultants off this list. The other way to do things is you go out with a separate RFP for every scope of work, and because we issue anywhere from 50 to 70 task orders in a 5-year period, administratively it's too burdensome to go out every time and go through the RFP process, and which can take sometimes 9 months or a year. So we've really gone to this model of developing an on-call list, and it's really worked well. The current on-call list we have in place right now expires in mid-2017. So what we're trying to do is get a new contract, on-call contract list in place for the next 5-year period before the current one expires. The wastewater program is about $280 million worth of work, of capital work. That's our annual budget. So you can see that there's a big demand to support this work. And we issue task orders for various things where we lack the resources to do the work. We're able to fill the valleys and shave the peaks as our resources need to grow and shrink. So it gives us that flexibility. We also bring in special expertise when we don't have it. Consultants typically offer a broader range of expertise in various areas, and we tap into the consultants to bring that expertise. So some of the things that I can think of that we would tap into some of the specialized expertise would be things like design builds, special alternative delivery methods. We have recycled water and reclaimed water. There's a number of new technologies out there to reclaim and recycle water. The cogeneration, as you know, we're doing the DGUP project right now, which involves highly technical cogeneration technologies. So there's a number of things that we just don't have the expertise, and we really rely on our consultants to support that. We would be advertising the request for qualifications on the BAVN system. We'll be reviewing the statement of qualifications in accordance with the selection criteria that's listed in the board report. And then we would negotiate the contracts and return to board with a recommendation to award contracts to the top 15 prime consultants, and they would all have a team of subs attached to them. So they would be the prime and their subs that would be brought back to board. And I think that concludes my report. I'll take any questions.
Commissioner Davis.
I just wanted to compliment you on making sure that we reach our potential in terms of diversity, and you using BAVN in the process now. This is a new task that we have integrated into what you do, and I think it's going to be great for the city.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Any further questions? Commissioner Jacinto?
Thank you, President James. Mike, thank you for the report. The current list, how many on call? How many do we have?
21.
21.
firms.
Out of the 21 over the course of the contract period, how many got work?
I have a summary right here. Glad you asked the question.
Hey.
Okay, so the current list, 21 firms. We've issued 48 task orders, totaling approximately $63 million. And 4 firms out of the 21 never were awarded any work, and that could be for various reasons. Either they weren't selected, they didn't have the expertise, or they didn't propose. It's not mandatory that they propose on work, and there's no penalty for not proposing. That's the summary, is 4 firms were not awarded any work.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Heather, Commissioner Pang.
When is this list going to expire?
July of 2017. The current list.
The new list.
Oh, no, the new list, well, it depends when we get the contracts in place, but assuming they get in place, let's say January of 2017, it's 5 years.
5 years,
Yeah.
okay. And I see that for the overall RFQ, you've set certain specific levels, including 4% women business enterprises. The task orders themselves, do they always reflect the same levels, or you guys specify different levels?
Because this is an overarching contract for 5 years, and we don't really have the specific scopes of work identified right now, we give some broad, sort of high-level anticipation levels that we expect, and then as the task orders get issued, we will specify in those task orders based on the type of work. There may be more opportunity, there may be less opportunity. We adjust accordingly, and then we send the task orders out, and the consultants respond.
That's what I thought. I just
Yeah.
don't want to be wedded to the 4% number. I was
No,
talking
these
with,
are just sort of these are telling the consultant what we think we can achieve as an average, and then as the task orders come out, it could be higher, it could be lower.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further on this? Thank you, everyone. Commissioner Santos made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 6. Is there a second by Commissioner Repenning and Commissioner Davis? So without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 6. Any issue sending number 6 forthwith? We'll send number 6 forthwith.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Agenda item number 7. The Bureau's requested that we continue item number 7 for a week. Well, until, actually, not exactly a week. From today until September 28th, 2016. So we will continue agenda item number 7 to September 28, 2016. Mr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
That does clear the desk.
Then we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.